Hello and welcome to another episode of the Northern Art Podcast with me, Ant Cosgrove. Hope that you're all doing very well indeed. I'm recording this episode at the end of 2021 and it will be the first one that's released in 2022. Hopefully there should be lots more to come. I've got various guests lined up, so keep listening. One of the first exhibitions that I think I'll visit this year is on the 15th of January and it's at the Brampton Museum, which is in Stoke. It's a solo exhibition for the artist Arthur Berry. A book has recently been published about Arthur, written by Peter Davis, who famously did the Northern School book. In fact, Peter was on the very first episode of this podcast. He's written this book about Arthur and about Arthur's life and the work and everything else. I wrote the foreword for the book, which I was really happy to do. It's available via Mostyn Gallery. They're the gallery that have commissioned the book and have organised this exhibition in Stoke. So like I say, it's the 15th of January on until March, and there should be lots of works there that have never been seen before, lots of works that are featured in the book. So maybe see you there. And now it's time to move on to my very special guest today on the Northern Art Podcast. I'll do my usual introduction, if you don't mind. Here we go. My guest today was born in Hengelo in the Netherlands in 1939 and normally lives and works in Amsterdam. She is widely known for her contribution to the European avant-garde of the 1960s. My guest was editor of the Situationist Times from 1962 into 1967 and a member of the Situationist International during her early career in Paris in the 1960s. Her painting practice is diverse and refuses to be linear. She works in a variety of styles and ideas, seemingly defying all efforts to be pigeonholed or placed in a distinctive artistic period. Work from the 1960s include expressive abstraction in the violent and humorous Accidental Paintings and Suicidal Paintings series. There are erotic works produced in the Private Lives of the Cosmonaut series, and later works explore politics, war and violence using figurative narrative painting. My guest has work in public and private collections all over the world, including France, Germany, Norway and the USA. She currently has a glorious retrospective of her work at Mostyn in Llandudno in North Wales, and we're going to talk about that a lot today. So, time to introduce my guest, Jacqueline de Jong. Hi Jacqueline, how are you doing?
Enjoying to be able to talk with you.
Thank you for doing this. You're the first guest that I've had on the podcast who is not from Britain, basically. I've had quite a few Welsh artists on and whatnot, but I've not actually had anybody overseas. So whereabouts are you in the world? Can you tell us?
I'm in the middle of France. It's very cold and there's no snow, but it's cold at the moment.
Right.
And I'm here for Christmas.
Ah, right. Okay.
And lots of friends are coming and I'm very lucky. I'm here with a friend now, Martin, and he's studying scientific and artificial science.
Right.
And he's studying all the time. He's very young. He's 60 years younger than I am. No, 55 years younger than I am.
Right.
And the point is, since yesterday, Holland is locked down. So I'm very lucky being in France and being free to do what we want to do. Of course, we need our vaccination, but there is more freedom than there is since yesterday in Holland.
Right. Okay. So do you paint in France then? Do you spend a lot of time painting when you're in France?
Yeah, I did. I actually made last summer a very big work, which is now in New York at the exhibition, which I have and which will last until I think first or second week of January.
Right.
And that, that's quite a big. Well, you can look at it.
Yes,
online.
I've looked online.
You look at. Yeah, that's very good, and it's called Underwater. No, I don't remember what I called it. I'll get to that. But it's sold in New York to a very big collector, so I'm very happy about it.
Excellent.
It was quite a use. No, I'm painting. I'm not very often painting here now. I will not because I'm only here for 10 days, and all my friends are coming. I have to cook all the time, so. This is not the moment for painting. So
do you have a big Christmas? Do you have a big Christmas then? Do you cook for Christmas? You cook for everybody?
No, not really big. 4 people come.
Right.
5 people.
Yes. Very nice. Very nice. No, the exhibition in New York, that's when I first contacted you, I think you were just about to fly out to New York to open that exhibition. So is that more recent work than the exhibition in New York? Is that sort of COVID work, if you like?
Well, yeah, it's completely during the last 2 years. So it is COVID work. It's called Borderline. And the whole exhibition is actually about refugees and the terrible things that happen, the awful things and incredible things that still happen. So I haven't finished yet. But the work I made here is a more fantasy work than the others. The others are really actuality, like Idlib and Moria and Lesbos, and what is happening between France and the UK.
Yeah.
With the drowning. So it's quite a difficult subject.
Definitely. No, it's. I had a look online, and it does look like an amazing exhibition. But we'll start talking about now that the exhibition that you've got on at the moment, which is a bit closer to home for me. It's at the Oriel Mostyn, or just Mostyn, I think it's called now, which is in Llandudno in North Wales. I have been to that. I have been there prior to your exhibition. I have been a few times over to the gallery. How did it come about that? How did the exhibition come about there?
Mostyn, I was just invited by Juliette de Sorge, who is now curator for contemporary art at Mostyn. Right. But before that, I met Alfredo Camilotti when I was exhibiting the solo at Artemis in Torino at the fair. And he came up to me and said, one day I want to do something with you. And that was in 2017, I think.
Right.
So it turned up that after Wheels, this big exhibition with actually a big catalogue. I don't know if you have that one.
Yes, yes.
You should.
I've got it, yes, yes.
The exhibition is called The Ultimate Kiss. And the Ultimate Kiss was... the catalogue was made because of the exhibition, together with Mostyn and also Ravensburg, where it's going after Mostyn.
Yes.
So it's an exhibition which has 3 locations, 3 spots to be on, and I'm very happy. I saw it at Mostyn.
Yeah.
I don't know how it will be at Ravensburg. It will be marvelous again, but it was very, very, very great to see Mostyn, of course, also with all the restrictions because of COVID. But I must say it's very good. And there was an article in the New York Times some weeks ago in T Magazine where I also talk about Mostyn because it's a very big article and it is actually on the exhibition.
Yeah.
As well in New York as the one in Mostyn.
Yeah, it's a fantastic show, the Mostyn one. I have been, and I'm actually going again soon. I'm taking a friend with me, so the two of us are going to go and have another look at it. And I have got the catalogue as well. What's the title? The title of the exhibition? You say it's called the Kiss. The
Ultimate Kiss.
The Ultimate Kiss. What's the meaning? What's the meaning behind the title of the exhibition?
Well, it's a painting.
It's one of the paintings.
You just have to look at.
It's the front cover painting of the catalogue.
You can make your own meaning about the
painting. Okay.
No, I do not talk about my paintings. People have to look at them.
That's good. I like that. That's a very good answer. No, and of course, this exhibition at Mostyn, it's a retrospective exhibition, so it has work all the way from like the 60s all the way up to more recent work. And that's what I loved about it. And it was just, I didn't know how they'd set it out, but they have set it out sort of chronologically in some way. And these different rooms with the different series of paintings and things. And it works very well. But one thing about your work, Jacqueline, it isn't maybe a conscious decision to sort of like have a different sort of styles, the way that you paint in and things like that. But it does blow your mind when you see your work because it is so diverse in the way that you paint. I think it's fabulous. You're not scared. You're not trying to be the same artist painting after painting after painting. That's something that you've never done. And I think that, I really appreciate, I like that in your work, to be honest with you. You're very brave.
I mean, don't forget, it's almost 60 years of work. So, yes. I mean, it's not surprising that it has been changing in all these years.
That's true.
And,
I suppose.
I go on. I mean, I hope to go on. I hope to be able to go on. But also, I've always been trying to do something different or go on with the same thing in a different way. I mean, make modifications of the things I did and adjusted things. And, well, that's the way my way as an artist works.
Do you draw then? Do you do a lot of drawing, or do you just go straight onto a canvas?
No, I don't make. Sometimes I make sketches. Of course, I make drawings. I was talking about the one I made this summer here. It starts as a drawing, but sometimes drawings become different things. And there's, for example, at this very moment, I think it even stops tonight. There is a solo in Antwerp, in Belgium, of drawings and works on sales. But there are very small drawings from 1973 and very big drawings from the 90s and the beginning of 2000 and late 90s.
Right.
So of course I draw, and I'm drawing books, but I don't make studies before I start painting.
Right. Okay. I see what you mean. It's a really good retrospective, and it's nice because it's a retrospective that certainly would grace any gallery in the world, really, in my opinion. And it's nice for it not to have been in London because, it's easier for me to get to. Selfishly, it's a lot easier for me to get to North Wales than it is to get to London. I've been to London like 4 times this year to see exhibitions and things, and it's quite, it's nice for it to be out of there and sort of somewhere else, really, in another venue. So. So well done, and I think the curator there, you mentioned her name before. I think she's done a marvelous job in getting you to come there. It is a nice space, isn't it? The exhibition space is quite good.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
But then I must say, somewhere in January, I believe, there will be also an exhibition at Pippi Holsworth's gallery.
Right.
Which is about the theme Upstairs, Downstairs, which I made in the 80s.
Right.
And that's work on paper. So, but they are not, you can't call them drawings really, because they're sort of drawings, but they're also with acrylic. That's the one in London. If people want to go from Wales to London, they will recognize some of the works, as the Upstairs, Downstairs works are quite a lot of them in the exhibition at Mostyn. Right. And they originally were for the town hall in Amsterdam, but the walls were tumbling down, so now they are at Mostyn and they will be in London.
Ah, right. Is that because it was a commission? Was it a commission that you had for the town hall?
They were commissioned at the time the building, the town hall, was built.
Right.
When it was constructed. But some years ago, they decided that the walls shouldn't be there anymore. There should be, I think, plants or something instead of walls, which is another conception. So if there are no walls, it's a bit difficult with wall paintings, paintings on walls, to have them there. And the title was because it was meant for the staircases and the elevator.
Yes.
So that's why it's Upstairs, Downstairs, referring to, of course, the series of on television.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I know that series.
You were too young. You were too young.
No, I've heard of it. I've never watched it. I heard of it. Very good. No,
okay.
So the series in the exhibition, I think people, when they go to the exhibition, they'll probably have a series that becomes their favorite. I think that's the type of, maybe the sort of way it is when I walks around. And I quite like the billiard series. I was very impressed with that. I was very drawn to that work. In particular, but I also do like some of the grotesque sort of figures that you do as well, and like the one on the front cover of the catalogue, for example. There's an artist, just to try and find a connection. It's somebody who you never have heard of, but there's an artist called Arthur Berry, who is from the UK. He died in the 1990s, but he painted some grotesque figures and things, and it's just sort of maybe. In some slightly grotesque sort of figures, and he was influenced by like Jean Dubuffet as well in his sort of work, and so that's sort of I found connections with that. But I recommend it to anybody listening.
I see. I don't know him.
No, you won't know his work. You won't know his work. He's only a book's just come out on him. A book has just been published.
Really? You could send me the link to that.
Yes, I will do. Definitely, I will do.
Mail it to me, please.
I will.
If it's sort of art brut,
yes, a little bit art brut. Yeah, like a kind of art brut, but with elements of England, of Northern England. I'll show you some of his work now on my camera, but this is not very good for the podcast.
Oh yeah, please.
You can see. Have a look.
No, of course.
Can you see anything there?
No, I can't. Well, I see.
It might be too dark. It might be too dark.
I see something like a baby and a mother.
Yeah, there's a
Well,
baby
that's
over there. This is a piano player here.
okay, but that's very different. It's much more human people related than when I make.
Then you correct, yes. But I will send you some images. You can have a look.
Yes, please do.
See what you think. Yeah. Thank you. But I'm a big fan of his work. So it was nice to see your work. There's a lot of color and life in your work as well, I think, which is obviously was a nice connection to see that as well. Is there any particular artist that you admire in particular? I know I can see when I walk around your exhibition, I can see possible Francis Bacon in some of the work. There's at least one or two pieces. Is he an artist that you sort of admire?
Yes, of course I do. But there's also Kitai who I admire. There's so many artists I admire that I wouldn't know. And not only painters. There are all sorts of artists I do admire very much. And you talked about Dubuffet. Of course, I've been influenced by Jorn, who I was a part of sort of during the 60s. And I'm influenced by many people. Like I think most artists, most people are anyway, but artists have to have influences. Otherwise, you have to come from somewhere. But it's not only contemporary art, it's also historical art. There's a lot. There's Goya, there's Rembrandt, whatever you mention, you can.
Yeah.
I might be influenced by. And not only, as I said, not only painters.
You've done illustrations, haven't you, for books and things like that? There was a series that you did. I think I read about it somewhere, which were kind of illustrations for books that hadn't ever had illustrations in them. Is that one of your series that you did? Yeah,
that's the série noire. And the série noire are French thrillers.
Okay.
Actually translated from American. And I don't know if they're in that time any English. But anyway, American thrillers that came out in France for a long time. It started in 1948. Just after the war, and they are never illustrated. And I thought they need not illustration, but an interpretation of the books. So I used the titles of each book, and each book became a painting. The ones I did, I didn't do many. I think I made 10 or 12 or something.
Right, okay.
So I didn't make illustrations to the books, but I used the titles to make paintings.
To make paintings, to make work, yeah. Can you talk about your schooling at all? I believe that you studied printmaking, is that right?
Well, actually, the only school I did in that way was with Bill Hayter, who was an Irish surrealist living in Paris and having a fantastic school, you could call it, institution called Atelier 17.
Right.
And Atelier 17, I don't know why it was called 17, but it was the place to learn to make etchings. And so I went there after I had been working in the States, so you get a little bit of my biography. And I learned making etchings there. And at the same moment, I went together with Jorn to a big print shop who was lithography printing, who actually made for the Michelin company. The Michelin, reproductions and, of course reproductions, but anyway, whatever was made in lithography. And that was in the early 60s. And then still lithography was quite, that's on stone, was quite usual to be used also for commercial reasons. And I just started making lithography then. So of course I made a lot of prints in all ways, also linos in 68 for the revolution, whatever you call it. You can't call it revolution.
Yeah, you did posters.
Anyway, sorry?
You did posters as well, didn't you, I think? Didn't you produce posters?
Yes, the 68 posters. They made on lino. That's another technique. And then I made woodcuts. I think an artist, if he wants to, he can do any material you want.
Why not?
You're free there.
Yeah, that's true.
So also performance and photography and whatever you want.
No, it's fine. So what are your plans for next year then? For have you got anything else lined up for 2022? This exhibition carries on. Oh, this is traveling, isn't it? After Wales, it travels on again.
Yeah, of course, the exhibition is traveling, but it will be again. It's in Germany, and they will adjust if you can call it like that, the catalogue, and have a part made by Axel Heil, with whom I've been working quite frequently, in German.
Right.
So, which is a fantastic challenge to do it, to have it also translated into German, because now it's only in English, and all the articles have to be translated. I mean, it's quite a work, and it's quite exceptional that they will do this. So I wonder how it will be. Now, there is at this moment a problem apart from COVID, and that is a lack of paper. The distribution of paper, I don't know how it is in the UK, but in Europe it's terrible.
Is it?
Yeah,
right.
definitely.
Okay. Right,
yes.
okay.
And
we've not felt that yet.
I mean, podcast doesn't use paper, but I mean, still, luckily, many things are on paper.
Yes.
And I think it's very difficult. No, I've heard it also. They were going to make another catalogue. I don't remember exactly.
Right.
Of whom, because it's a catalogue to be, and I heard it also from writers. Their books will not come out. They're out of press because there's no paper. I mean, that's crazy. Another event happening. Yes, and
how are we going to get around that?
Yeah, well, it has more to do with trees. It's not exactly Christmas trees that are used for paper, but, I mean, it's dramatic. No, it really is. Right. It's not toilet paper. The toilet paper was probably in the beginning of COVID.
Did you have that? Did you have issues in
everyone.
France?
It was everyone as well. On the continent as in the UK.
That was crazy.
But it was very funny because people were afraid they wouldn't have toilet paper. I mean, you can use water and stuff.
Yeah,
you know?
in this country, what happens is we usually end up with petrol problems with the fuel. People just go crazy and buy all the fuel. Yeah.
Yeah. That's another one. Yes, but there Brexit, there's of course a lot of things where you'll get.
Oh my God! Have you never considered doing a painting about Brexit?
About Brexit? No, that's too complicated. No, then I'll make an Irish painting.
Yes.
How's Wales at the moment? How's the situation?
Well, Wales, it's kind of like, obviously like England, isn't it? At the moment, this Omicron virus, this strain is a real concern. You know, it's
yeah, of course, yes. That's why we have a lockdown in Holland.
Yeah,
since yesterday.
It's the numbers are just doubling every couple of days, and it's
also in Wales.
It's everywhere in the UK. It's just scary now. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, we'll get through Christmas, and then I don't know whether we'll have another lockdown. I don't really know what they'll decide at the moment, but we will see. We'll see what happens. It's what do you think of Boris Johnson?
What I think of. Come on, guess what I think. I mean, it's incredible.
He's quite grotesque.
But then, I mean, I was very impressed when I was 3 days in Wales, because Juliette de Jong, who was very, very kind and generous, and she had me driven. Well, we drove around, and I saw the mines, and I started once coming back, making a big painting on the mines.
Yeah,
and because I was very impressed and shocked by everything I saw. So that triggered me to make a new work, which is not finished yet.
Oh, wow. That sounds very good.
Yeah, because I've been traveling too much. I couldn't finish it, but it will be very soon, I hope.
Yeah.
But no, I think Wales, and I was amazed that not everyone was wearing a mask. It's not like in France. In Holland, they're very confused. They're extremely confused.
Are they?
I mean, government is confused, although there's not really a government. It will be after Christmas. And then we'll have, after a year, Holland will have a government. Well, let's not talk about that. That's big.
People are fed up. People are fed up.
I mean,
now.
It is a confusion, like there is in the UK, only for different reasons.
Yeah, it's been 2 years. It's nearly 2 years, isn't it? So it'll be 2 years in March. So it's a long time, for people to to deal with something like this. It's just
mainly for young people. It's of course for people
for young
my age,
people, of
very
course,
dangerous.
but
It's very sad for people that can't see their family, etc. But I mean, well, I must say, to have a new lockdown, 3 weeks, a complete lockdown, in Holland now it makes it even more confusing. They should have done that long before.
Well, hopefully we'll get out of it at some point soon, and then
everyone should be vaxxed. That's very simple. Vaccination and booster vaccination.
Yes,
the only hope to get out of it.
Yes, I know. This is the situation, isn't it? But yeah, thank you for speaking to me today, and I'm looking forward to seeing what more work, the new work that you produce, because I think with you, your work is always moving forward, it's always changing, and you're always looking ahead. And I think so much of your work comes from the news and from what happens in the world. Is that right? Is that fair to say? It comes from influences?
Well, yes, yeah. You are right. I mean, it's very actual, or also historical, or what is happening. I mean, but you can't avoid doing actual work where you work like I do. Some is very imaginary, and sometimes it's combat. But it's also all the influences of images and facts. And it's not only images, of course, it's also listening to podcasts, listening. There's so many things that you can see and feel and smell and eat and whatever, that it is a combination. It's like life. And of course, I'm not on all the time on Instagram. I'm even a bit avoid Instagram, but I am part of this world like it's now. So it's much more than it has been when I started working. Then, I mean, when I started in the early 60s, there was hardly television. There was radio. That was one of the information channels, and of course, newspapers and magazines. But I mean, the influence nowadays of all that is going on is so much.
It's so much.
If you avoid it, I'm part of the world.
It's crazy because as somebody who looks at art, because obviously you look at art, I look at art and see it daily in my life. I think that now because of Instagram and because of Facebook and social media and the internet and everything, an individual can look at a painting and can judge an artist, that whole artist's career and life for years and years of painting and producing work. They can judge it and decide that they don't like it, sum it up and throw it in the garbage in 2 minutes. Like, they can dismiss a whole artist's career from just a couple of photographs on a screen on Instagram, and that's it, and move on to the next one, like sliding to the next, which is the next artist, or they can like become bored of that artist within 5 minutes.
I'm very much again. I mean, this is incredible, and also because it's only on screen.
Yes,
I mean, it's either the phone or the iPad or whatever. Or I mean, whatever device it is. It's all on screen and nothing is in real. I mean, there's still a difference in touching something and smelling something.
Yeah. Your work in the flesh is 100 times better than on a screen. And it's so much, the impact of your work, when you're in front of it is massive. It's the huge paintings anyway, a lot of them, very big. You can't capture that on a screen anyway. It's very difficult. Even the sense of scale.
It's also the size, but that counts for everyone. I mean, it counts also for buildings. After all, you can't live in a screen.
Yeah.
You still have to have a building to sort of live in. You can't walk in a screen. You can't stroll around the mountains or the woods. You can't smell it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are lots of things you cannot do.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't want to cancel the screen all of a sudden. I'll never do that. I'm very happy it exists.
Yeah.
And anyway, I'm against canceling.
You need both, don't you? You need both. It's nice to go to exhibitions.
Of course, you need both. Yeah, exactly. And you use both.
It has its advantages as well, of course, you know, because you can learn about things. I've obviously learned so much more about you in quite a quick period of time versus, I suppose, years ago. What would I have done? I've had to go to a library. I would have had to have found some books.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. No, it wouldn't have been possible.
wouldn't have
I
been
must
possible.
say, I haven't made many podcasts yet, but I mean, I enjoy doing it. It is nice. But still, when you do a Zoom, for example, I did 2 days ago for Yale a Zoom talk, which was a very nice Zoom talk on art and protest. You can look it up at
Yeah, thank
Banneker.
you. I will do.
And but then, still again, even if there is a PowerPoint, if there are images, it's very difficult to show art in that way.
Yeah,
In a Zoom, you hardly you just saw, you hardly can see the work, and it's deformed very much so. But
that's
on the
true.
other hand, what I also said there, one of the things which I think since internet is so fantastic, that there is not the restriction of copyright in a way
Yep.
that it was before. I mean, it is droit d'auteur and copyright are free, are
Yeah.
completely free. Is it coffee you have in there or whiskey?
This is tea. I just drink. Look, I
It's
love.
tea. Of course, you're English.
I'm English.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
don't
You're well.
I don't like coffee. I'll say that I don't like. Everybody I know drinks coffee. I just like tea. I don't like coffee. There you go. What
Okay.
about you? Coffee? You coffee?
I'm much more coffee than tea.
Oh.
No, I'm not very tea. No. Sorry, Great Britain. I'm not very tea. In an hour, I'm going to have a nice drink because it's Sunday. We have to have the Sunday drink.
Sunday
And
drink. I
as
like
it's
it.
France,
Saturday.
of course, it's France. So then
Yes.
you take a Crémant de Bourgogne
Is that right?
because we are near the Bourgogne,
Very
which is very
nice.
nice.
This just the one thing I wanted to say. So this exhibition in Wales at the moment, is it right to say this is the first like institutional exhibition in the UK in like ever, or maybe of your work? Is it, or for a very long time? Is that right?
Well, the first, definitely the first solo exhibition. Of course, it's not the first exhibition I
No,
have,
no, no. You
but
had exhibitions in
institutional, yes. And I was very grateful to Juliette Dessart when she decided. I knew her in France,
right.
and I mean I knew her recently in France. I had the exhibition in Toulouse, and that was a real retrospective. But I have to say one thing: it is her exhibition. So in a way, you should make a podcast with her also. No, it would be nice
I might
to
do. I'll look her
have.
up. I'll look her up.
She explains what her choice is because the choice is very different from the choice which was it builds. I mean, each part of the exhibition, the traveling exhibition, changes with the person who made it.
Yes.
I mean, it is of course the curator that decides what way the exhibition will be, and also the size of the building is important in a way.
Of course.
But then it is a bit the same thing about the catalogue.
Yeah.
Where the curators together, and of course also then in Zoom conferences with me to make the choice, but it was their choice.
Yeah.
No, individually and together.
Yeah, I think what they need to do in this country is to get some of your work into the UK public collections, because I don't think that I can't see anything in the public collections of the UK, and I think hopefully if Wales embraces that at least because it's there, but you should have your work. There should be work by you in the Tate all day long, and there is work by you. In other countries, you've got work in France, haven't you? You've got work in Germany, USA, but for some reason in the UK, there's not work in the public collections yet. I'm sure that'll change.
P.P. Holsworth is working very hard on that.
Yeah, definitely. I can imagine.
Now it hasn't happened yet.
It will. I'm sure it will do. I'm sure it will do. I know. You've got your own You've got your archive collection, haven't you? Is that in Yale? Is it? I think
my archive for the Situationist Times for my magazine it's at Banneker in Yale.
Is that right? Okay. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
They bought the whole archive.
Did they? Right.
But that is mainly on the magazine. I mean, that's not on my painting.
Yes.
That is on it's counterculture. So it's mainly on the magazine and also well, the posters, 68 posters and things like that.
Yes.
Connected to that and not to my general artistic work.
But I think what you've managed with the exhibition, and obviously the fact it's a retrospective, all of the work in that show, you've managed to keep it together, haven't you? Which is a nice thing to actually have been able to keep the work as a body of work. Is most a lot of that work at your own collection in that exhibition, or is it
no,
private collections? Is it come from
the painting? No, almost everything is private collection.
Is it? Right. Okay. Fantastic.
Yes. No,
right.
Not everything, but I mean, of course, all the billiards are still mine. People don't want to buy them, I think. Well,
are they crazy?
Thank you. No, but it's a funny thing. Actually, there's a very nice, very, very marvelous couple in New York who bought one from Poupie Holdsworth, one of the quite amazing painting which they bought, and I was very happy to meet them now when I was now in New York.
Fantastic.
But it's very rare that institutions are. No, that's not true. Institutions bought them. There's in Norway. There's a museum, and there's a museum in Holland. They bought the Série Noire. But I mean, for example, the billiards. I had a show with Olivia Baird with Chateau recently, 2 years ago in Los Angeles. Nothing sold.
Right. Well, there you go.
Yeah. Billiards are, well, some museums have billiards.
And I like the billiard ones. I think they're great. I think they're really
but
good.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, your billiard table's different. Your billiard table, they don't have pockets, do they, in your billiard table?
No, but that's not my that's the billiard. That's the original billiard tables, which they were in France and
yes,
I think on the continent they're very much like that. They're not like it's a different play.
Also. It's a different
game.
It's a different game. Yeah, I think billiards is the general term for various games. Cues. Cues. That's right.
All these things that are on tables. Yes,
exactly.
Like pinballs, and I mean, I had this pinball show. Pinball is
Did you?
Billiard. Yeah, it was my magazine, number 7 of the magazine.
Right. Okay.
And that started in Oslo and went to Malmö. And there's a beautiful book that came out. You should have a look at that.
I will.
It's called The Same Player Shoots Again.
Okay.
And it's edition Torpedo in Oslo.
Right.
And that exhibition recently ended in Paris. It traveled from Oslo to Malmö and then to Singapore and then to Paris. No, and actually to my big exhibition in the Stedelijk Museum in Amsterdam and then to Paris.
Oh, wow. Well, I hope that, as you said, that it's Pippi Holdsworth, isn't it? There, that she manages to get some of your work into institutions in this country. That'd be fabulous, and I think it's well deserving. I think it's a very good gallery, isn't it? Very good contemporary gallery.
Very, very, very good.
I have been. She sells work by Jade Fadage-Martina. She sells her work. She's a young artist. I think she's just got one of her work acquired by the Tate. I think she's now actually the youngest.
Jade,
yeah, she's the youngest, I think, artist in their collection. She's doing very well.
She's a fantastic woman and she's a fantastic artist, absolutely.
Yeah.
But so are actually the Dutch gallery, Duursprit, and who are at the moment in Antwerp with my, not recent work, but what I was telling about the drawings. They are doing very well. I mean, I'm lucky having some galleries working in different countries. They were all working very well with my work. I mean, at the moment, I'm very happy about all these different fantastic galleries.
It's lovely, isn't it? It must be nice to travel to the different shows as well and to go to see the exhibitions.
Yeah, but it would be great if there could happen something in Great Britain, sure.
Yeah.
I can have a look now, but it will not last forever in Mostyn. I think until end of February.
Yes, February. Yeah, it's until February.
They should go fast. I don't know how to trigger them. Well, your podcast might.
I will. I'll send some messages to them. No problem.
Oh, that's great. If you could do that. And Pippi is Pippi Holdsworth's gallery. That's fantastic. So
it is a very, very good gallery.
At least in the UK.
Yeah. Thank you. Right. Well, I'll let you go now. I'll let you go and have your drinks.
Okay.
Are you going to go and have
I'll drink on your health and take care. Stay safe. Take very much care. Big pleasure doing this.
This is brilliant. Thank you for this. And I'll be in touch and we'll speak again at some point. I'm going to have to try and get one of your paintings, but I don't know if it'll fit in my house because they're absolutely massive. Well, most of them are.
With communication. Okay. And if you have questions, you can mail me.
All right. Okay? Thank you. Look after yourself.
And
Take care.
Wonderful week. Thank you very much for this.
Have a brilliant Christmas. Yeah. Take care.
Thank you. Oh yeah. Have a very brilliant Christmas. Take care. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Okay. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you again to Jacqueline for doing the interview. She is a proper legend, so it was really cool to get her on the podcast, so thank you for that. The exhibition catalogue for the Ultimate Kiss is available from the Mostyn Gallery. It's also you can also get it online for various bookshops. Just do a search online for Jacqueline de Jong and the Ultimate Kiss and you'll find it on there. It's a real sort of substantial catalogue really, with various essays and tons of images and things like that. It's well worth getting. And the exhibition itself is on until February, so you can just check out the Mostyn website for all the various details of opening hours and things like that. Hopefully somebody from the Tate or another British institution is listening and maybe picks up some of Jacqueline's work for the public collection in this country. That would be excellent. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. As usual, I'll post some images relating to the episode on the Northern Art Facebook page and on the Instagram page too. Any likes, comments, shares, messages, follows, etc. is always appreciated. You can also subscribe to the channel on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts, and then you won't miss out on any episodes that I upload in the future.